to us. Perhaps you've seen John Paul, maybe our dealers in the state. Good gentleman, worked hard to train. If you're new to this and you're catching me from the head office, welcome for the first time. And my name is Kyle. It is spelled host on, and some of you already filled it all the way out, thank you. But on the bottom right where you see host, just put Kyle and
okay, then
It's coming.
fine.
I got yours now.
It's fine. They go to church Sunday because my daughter and them had come home, so I just stayed there and spent time with them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we was there. Yeah, we was there Sunday.
Yeah, I told them, I said, well, I guess I'll stay on at the house. Because I started to leave anyway and go, but then I just said I'll stay there and entertain them.
Well, you got family, yeah. Stay there with that family.
From Selma too.
Oh, that's where Tisha is in Selma.
Is she?
Yeah, because she's going through the police academy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she got sworn in about 2 months ago.
That's good.
Almost 2 months ago. So she got to go through the police academy.
They're asking.
Oh, that's good.
I'm getting them.
Yeah, my daughter, she married a guy from there, so that's why they live there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and then I got 2 grandkids.
Okay.
They come and visit me every now and then.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I used to go up that way, but my nephew, he had a stroke, and then I have to stay down here and kind of see about him, make sure he get his medicine.
How old is your nephew?
He turned 56 today. His
Oh,
birthday
so he up in there. He ain't no little boy.
today. Sometimes he try to give me a hard time.
I say sometimes he trying to give you a hard time.
Yeah. I keep trying to go.
Thank you. Pass me that basket. I'm gonna get me a roll out of there. I was waiting on them to bring them breads out. Here you go. There you go. Will you pass me a couple of pieces of that butter?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay.
I like that bread. That bread was good. Well, I normally get a potato too. I said I'm gonna try fries this time. Normally Frank, that's
Yeah,
Frank be getting steak and fries. I'm gonna have some fries this time.
I eat fries sometimes.
You just got some things. Oh, okay, sorry.
What y'all got planned for Thanksgiving?
They're supposed to come back down. And I guess I got the
So you cooking?
yeah, I got it. Always have been like that.
Yeah, I love to cook.
Yeah, that's all I do.
Mm-hmm. What was you gonna cook? The whole thing?
Yeah, I probably cook a lot. My sister, she said she gonna help me.
Okay.
This time, so she'll probably throw something together too. Probably just show up at my house.
You gonna bake anything? Sweets?
You know what? I never did learn how to bake.
No?
I been cook, but I ain't never learned how to bake no sweets or nothing.
Mm-mm.
I used to always had to buy my sweets.
Was that enough time for everyone to get food? What's so funny?
I thought you were fixing to ask, was that time for everybody to eat?
Time for everybody to do tequila shots. So y'all are like, what? You're not eating? Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I had a salad just now. I don't shut
Your
up
wife
long
would be
enough to do the
proud.
main course and everything else. I have to do it in pieces. Like the next group, they'll have like the steak and potatoes ready for me, you know. But I can't just guzzle it all down. Let me show you what I promised to show you. It's just a little video kind of reiterating everything I just said. You go ahead and click into it, huh?
Do you know that indoor air pollution is now the deadliest environmental global risk according to the Environmental Protection Agency? This is a scary fact, considering that the average American spends 90% of their time indoors. At a time when 1 out of 4 Americans are suffering from allergies and asthma, breathing problems inside our homes are at an all-time high. Environmental air allergies are caused by microorganisms like harmful bacteria, dust mites, mildew, especially pet dander, and yes, human skin that is shed makes up the majority of the dust you see. These contaminants usually exist in dark and hard to reach, if not impossible places for you to clean, such as air ducts. Symptoms, as you may know, are sneezing, coughing, fatigue, watery eyes, and itching, of which are gateways to flu and colds. Yes, regular chemical disinfectants used in homes do unrealistically claim to kill 99.9% of bacteria inside your home, but they do more harm than good. Not only do the chemicals poison us and our pets, but when we use disinfectants to clean our homes, it causes the bacteria to develop resistance and therefore mutate into what we now call superbugs. You've heard of superbugs before, right? There's a microscopic war going on inside your home. This means that every second that you and your family spend inside your home, these unwanted contaminants and potentially dangerous bacteria are entering your body through your nose, mouth, and even your eyes that are a constant attack on your immune system, which then affects your health directly. Thankfully, there is a solution. With studies done in hospitals all over the world, we discovered that environments rich with the right blend of stabilized probiotics help tremendously to reduce the amount of allergens and bacteria. What are probiotics? They are beneficial bacteria that are helpful and healthy for your body. In fact, your body is home to over 100 trillion beneficial probiotics. How are probiotics so beneficial? When we have an environment rich in probiotics, the good bacteria and the bad bacteria are consuming the same food and resources: mold, mildew, fungus, and even dead skin cells. When we increase the amount of probiotics in the air and surfaces, they consume the required resources and outcompete the bad bacteria, making it very difficult for them to survive. Also of great importance, our probiotics deconstruct the biofilm that serves as housing and protection for unwanted bacteria. Eco Probiotic Systems is the only way to enrich your environment with the right probiotics by installing our EPS 365 machine in the attic or area where the main HVAC handler is. Then, our machine distributes specialized probiotics through your home's HVAC system, releasing many trillions of beneficial probiotic reinforcements daily, which then can penetrate and clean inside air ducts, mattresses, cell phones, underneath carpets, covering all air, objects, and surfaces in your home. Within days, you should notice a total range of odors disappearing from inside your house, making way for a greatly improved environment for your sleep, better health, and cleaner air for you and your family by adding the purity of our EPS 365 system in your lives right now.
Just a different piece of technology. I just wanted to show that one more time. And there may still be questions, so write those down on the note card so we know what to handle at the end. This is a product that we do free appointments for. We will come out, show you what it's like, give you more pamphlets and literature at the house, or just take a peek at air ducts or an area of the home that you're interested in talking about. So that's the Eco Probiotic System, the EPS 365, and I'll give you a little bit of information on pricing and what it's like to refill it and things like that at the end of the program, just in case you want to know that too. How's the food?
Very good.
Good deal. Anybody think they might need a to-go box at some point?
I will.
Good deal.
Oh, he got them on hand.
I'm keeping them out of y'all's way, so I'm going to do 2 here for these 2 for those here. I'm going to do 2 for you. Here.
Thank you.
1.
Thank you.
We're going to go 1 here, that way you don't have it in your way. We're going to go 2 here for my 2 here, and 2 here for my 2 there. Okay? All right. Cool. Now she doesn't have to come in. All right. Okay. At this point, we're going to go ahead and get into what's the biggest focus of our program. We're always talking about conserving energy, energy efficiency, lowering the cost, creating more comfort for our families. So we're going to get into this right here. Conserve energy, save money, protect the environment, what we call the energy advantage, comfort and savings. All 3 of these can be achieved simultaneously through what we call the energy advantage. Now the thing about it is, about 80% of what we talk about in this room has nothing to do with healthy home. The majority of what we do is actually NASA-based. Walter Cunningham, the Apollo 7 astronaut, dedicated the remainder of his career developing the lightweight technology that we use in so many homes. So we'd like to say thank you to them first. Now, one thing I want to kind of do right now that's a little different. Some of you may or may not have seen us in the past with John Paul, some of our dealerships, Edge America Tech here in Alabama. When we come out from the head office, there's one thing we want to answer as Alabama is about to be a very interesting state next year. I had someone say it when I came in, well, when they were coming in actually, somebody asked me this question already in this group. I'm going to give you your answer right now. People often ask, do we sell solar? Is this a solar program? So this is not a solar program, but the answer to that question is yes, absolutely we do sell solar. We do. What we like to talk about is that we happen to have a sister company under the 365 umbrella that does procurement and installation for all of our solar projects in 28 different states. Now, what we want to make sure we tell you is it is far more important, I cannot stress this enough, to conserve energy first on the front end. Make sure that the home is qualified for these 2 products, especially with usage being a huge deal right now in the country when it comes to quoting you for solar. But we want to make sure that we offer our time here soon. So here's what I want you to do. If you're interested in getting solar information from us next week or the week after, write an S and circle it at the bottom right of your orange card, the card I gave you. If you are interested in that, we will call and text you personally, offer extra information on the phone to see if you are interested interested in getting more from us on solar, all right? We just want to make sure that we're conserving energy. And what I want to tell you too, as I go along, I'm going to show you why this is the first step, just like my house, and then we'll open up. So again, if you are interested in our other half, our solar project, put an S on that orange card and circle it so I can get back with you next week, okay? Let me go ahead and show you this. I know that the dealerships, they're not allowed to go into that. They're not allowed to talk about that. But I come out here and they tell me that's one of the biggest things. So
Yeah.
we will be here to talk about it for you. Let me show you why this is the first step. Just like last, the absolute first step. Cut the heating and cooling costs down. Number one thing we're going to do today. Cutting the heating and cooling bill down. 2, save wear and tear on the heating and cooling equipment. Now that's one of the biggest things for us. If there's one reason the AC is going to fail in the state of Alabama, if you're taking care of
That's all you
it,
want is one?
constant use and runtime, fighting heat and humidity for months on end. And I think some of y'all know it can pretty much be constant use all the time out here. I tell a lot of folks, look, for most of a decade, it's 2 seasons, summer, 3 days of fall, and then summer again. And then we might have 1 or 2 years where there's a freeze in February or something. But these people run their AC more than other states even imagine, you know. So one thing we want to do is make sure we're using products that put more years of life on your air conditioning equipment. Most expensive thing to replace if it goes out, most expensive appliance to run on a daily basis. So we're going to protect that. 3, eliminate hot and cold spots in the home. Rooms that are harder to heat and cool. This is part of where you start seeing the difference with the solar program versus this program first. We want to address comfort and savings, both. And some people say that they got one room that's hotter or colder than their other rooms, and it's turning the whole AC on just because of one wall or a vaulted ceiling. And you know, some people I invite in here, they don't even have an attic. They have the AC under the home and they don't even have an attic over their head. So we will talk about if you do or don't have an attic too. We want balance. Let's go quick with me on this. Create more comfort, preserve the environment, increase the resale value of the home, and become less dependent on everybody else for our energy sources. If we can get all 7 done, we should be in a great position to save money and be more comfortable. Also, too, we do want to say thank you if we're lucky enough to have any of our veteran families in here. Are there any veterans or veterans in the family in this room? A couple of us here and here. And here too are gentlemen, so good. If you're like me and you have a mom, dad, even if they're no longer here, you have a son or daughter or a sister, brother, thank you for service in the family, but thanks for raising your hand if you did. Again, we're veteran owned and operated. Big portion of what we do goes back to the Wounded Warrior companies in the hopes that they find more ways to cater and help these veterans that bust their butt for us in the country. So thank you for raising the hand, folks. The other thing, and I like going over this, it says made in the USA on all of our products, everything that we do. And that's not to make fun of other countries or companies, but it's been wild to see how the attitude has been the last 2 years. Because of people being behind, there's people that they go out of their way to get the cheapest thing into that state they're working in and shove it into that person's house just to get the job done and go get another contract. The problem is we're working in heat, hail, ice, wind, water, tornadoes, hurricanes. We don't want to put the cheapest thing on an already expensive property and hope that it lasts. So the way that we do things at Healthy Home, the shipping, the manufacturing, the sales, R&D, and customer service for not only our head office but all of our dealers is done right there in Dallas, Texas. We have readily available products. When people call, we can be day of or day after with these products. And we offer lifetime warranty on everything we discuss, from our solar equipment you're going to see tonight, our insulations, and the probiotics we use in every room. So I like to make sure y'all know that. And that's the shortest introduction I think I care to do. Is everybody still okay? Well, great. If you don't mind, with Alabama, I feel like I trust you a little bit more than other states I travel to. I don't think I need to show you a video explaining why the AC turns on in August. And does anyone think there's no humidity here? All right, great. So why don't we save a few slides? Right? I can be fair, right? I can help you. I don't want to talk about this either. I'm skipping it right now. We do too. Way to phrase it. We do too much talking about price in this state specifically. It's so easy. Here's where I'm at on this. People get real mad about their utility bill. The utility company work full time trying to keep us power, do a lot of hard work, right? We can sit here and talk about last year's price increase, this year's price increase. The thing about Alabama is if you don't like your utility company, if you don't like the price or you don't like the logo they carry on their shirt, you still have to do what every 30 days when you pay it?
Pay that bill.
You have to pay it. You have to. Or else romantic candlelight dinners for a few of you. That's how it's going to be. And we have to pay the bill. The one thing we know is the customer's control in the state. It is the company's price times the customer's usage. There wouldn't be a bill without you running kilowatt hours to power and heat and cool. So what we want to do, like I said, I kind of trust you. I skipped a few slides that are kind of some fluff. We need to talk about where our money goes every time we pay a bill. What can the products do to lower the usage every single day? That's the key of the program. So the U.S. Department of Energy says, look, the bill's going to be 3 tiers. 18 to 22% for appliances and basic lighting, turning everything on and off and TVs and whatnot. While 10 to 12% of it is heating up the water, showers, laundry, maybe bath water, however many times a week. But the biggest portion of the bill, and I don't think this is a secret to anybody, the heating and cooling cost. The air conditioning unit often coupled along with the heat pump for us. Again, 50-60% of the bill. Most expensive appliance to run every day. Most expensive one to replace if it ever goes out. Some homes I deal with, they got more than one to take care of. What we want to do is put years of life on the equipment first while lowering the bill at the exact same time. This is going to be huge. To do it, Alabama though, this is where it does get a little easy. A state like Texas, a state like Alabama, I don't need to show a video, y'all know this. The number one reason that the AC has been turning on and spending money for the last 5 months is it's been fighting a lot of what outside? It's a lot of heat, and the humidity make it feel way worse. Absolutely, I get that argument with people. I was in Arizona earlier this year. I bet you boys never been in 160. I looked at that lady, I'm like, honey, you have no idea. You're in dry heat. People in the South, they would golf in this right now. My wife lay out in this, right? Your attic's 180. 130 with humidity sucks. It is, I heard her say humidity. I don't think she's wrong. But the heat is the biggest factor that we have to get tighter on, right? Especially for people that want to consider solar, have got to lower the usage first, right? This can determine hundreds of thousands of dollars later. So let me kind of explain what I'm talking about on this. The first thing we're going to cover is radiant heat. Radiant heat. Biggest thing that we pay on right now, energy bill, radiant heat. Number one reason whether we have panels or not, radiant heat is determining our bill. 3 ways heat's transferred. Y'all learned this in grade school. Conduction, convection, radiant heat. Radiant heat soaking up in the attic, leaving the attic in the cold temperature. We got to do better with this. Now where the heat goes, science, cold doesn't exist. It's the absence of heat. It says heat seeks out the cold air. Now most of y'all had kind of what I'm going to have. I'm baked potato all day, every day. Give me the baked potato loaded up. So smother it with sour cream. So the one thing I talk about with this is if you open the oven to see if all the potatoes are done, what happens?
See heat come out in your
It
face.
comes out as the textbook answer with her emotion and then y'all's words, yeah, and it hits you in the face. People with glasses, my wife, if
Fog up.
if you don't take them off. All that is the heat seeking out the colder air inside of a kitchen, the cold air. It's the same thing that happens in the south. If you go open up your attic. Now, I don't think I need to convince you in Alabama how hot it gets in the attic. If you go up into the attic, like yesterday we had 86 degrees, a couple weeks ago, well, y'all know how the summer is. If you go up there at 6 p.m. on an 85, 90, 95 degree day, what does it feel like in the attic? I tell a lot of my guys I train and my gals, look, you can tell the room has been in an attic just based on how they answer that question. I'm like, if they say 80, they haven't been in their attic. Someone I heard 120, I heard 120, I heard 130, I've heard 110. These are all correct. It's hot. Whatever it is outside, it's going to be 20, 30 degrees hotter in that attic, especially in our summers in the south. Way hot. This year, really hot when we got that big heat wave come right on through. And that heat starts to work its way down. What we see is a lot of fiberglass. We see a lot of things that are trying to help by soaking up the heat. They'll soak up as much heat over the bedrooms as possible until that insulation saturates. That heat goes in, that AC comes on. AC goes off, the heat comes in, the AC goes back on and off and on and off. The worst thing is when I'm not in the dinner and I come out at like 6 or 7 p.m. in the evening in the summer. Then you hear the customer, the AC's just going on and off. And the problem is, yes, it's comfortable air, but it's dollar signs running out of their vents. It's costing them money every time this thing runs, and years of life. Because it's like an engine, it's like a car. You know that AC, it's an engine for the house. Now, stopping the heat's going to be a big part of this program. Trapping is another part. Y'all know how it works. Everybody has a family member that likes to live hotter than everyone else in the whole entire country. And you got to take care of those people, right? I take care of my wife. She's like 5 degrees, 6 degrees hotter than me, right? She's like 74 is her comfort temp. I'd be fine at 68, but she thinks I'm a heathen, so whatever. My whole deal is as long as I'm cold at night, I'm not going to complain. I work during the day anyway.
Yeah.
I do whatever you want, but at night it better be cool. I don't want to sweat my butt. So what happens is when we get that, in my opinion, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but when I work here, it feels like February. We do January's like all 4 seasons in a day for a whole month, and then poof, it's like a freeze. If it's going to happen, usually February or the beginning of March, something weird happens in the south. And it'll get cold, and sometimes by April we get these bills coming in and people are like, dude, can you believe this? My heating cost was actually higher than my maid bill was last year. And what it is when it's cold outside and we pay for hot air in the home, heat on through convection rises, hits the attic, and moves right out in reverse, right out through the cold air, because the heat is always seeking the colder air. So whether it's summer or winter, we want to heat you up as quick as we can cool you down, do it quickly. Whether people have this much insulation or about that much, it can cost them money every day. And one of the things that we see is the first thing we see people do is they usually take to get new windows. They call us up and ask us about our window program. And that can help, but I like to point this out. Like yesterday at 7, we had that couple that came and said, I've done windows, they didn't do. And he used a word that we all use sometimes, but they didn't do for him. And he said that word out loud, and I said, well, you know, the problem is this. One, I'd expect less windows done in Alabama because y'all got trees 3 times the size of your house. I mean, like, sometimes I see people spending all that money on windows. I'm like, dude, you got what we don't have.
Yeah, shade.
Beautiful tree. I want to bow hunt every one of y'all's properties. They're perfectly straight. The other thing is this. The sunlight, if this is the sun right here and I'm the house, U.S. Department of Energy says about 10% of the heat in the morning, radiant heat, is hitting that. And about 10% of the setting sun is hitting those windows. But that 80% of the entire day is aimed and focused right through the roof and right through the attic. So if I can, another kind of not scripted kind of thing I can tell y'all that really bugs me, the customer's always what?
Right.
I was going to say hungry, but we'll go with whatever you want. Well, yeah, sure. You're always right. We'll say right. No, I know. When I'm not with you, I'm always right. The thing is this. You get these customers when I'm on the phone in Dallas, and they'll say, I want windows. And I'm looking at them, I'm going, man, you know those windows cost way more than insulation. They cover this much. So what you hate to see is the customer makes you take that much money to solve a 20% problem. You're sitting in this room talking to y'all for an hour and a half, trying to spend that much money to solve an 80% problem. That's all the way over every bedroom. So we want to make sure we're being wise about the customer's money, stopping giant chunks. And again, the other big problem, I hope I made sense by saying that. I try to help people, and in here, luckily, we don't even do the windows and show you them, but the U.S. Department of Energy is the other big thing. And if you want to write this down, you can. You don't have to, but it is from them. They say traditional insulation stops very little heat transfer, up to 10% total. So math we have right there. You have a brand new house that has blown in insulation, but if they're only stopping 10%, they're losing 90% of the issue across the house. That could be a huge problem they're paying for. I'll give you this idea. Is anybody in here like a football fan? Y'all like football? Football fans?
Yeah.
Get out if you don't. Okay. So everybody's football. So I would hope so. All right. Here's what I tell some of the guys in training. I said, guys, tell your customer if they don't get this, ask them how great it would be to have a football team where the offensive line can only stop 10% of the people, 10% of the time from getting to the quarterback. They can only stop them 10% of the time. The rest of the time, they run right through them.
Oh,
I know
Lord.
some teams like that.
I know some teams like that too. I know some teams like that too. I like to, well, you know, traveling up north, I like to pick about, I'm a big SEC guy, so I like to, whole family's from Louisiana. I've got Alabama fans, LSU fans, I got Auburn fans in the family. Imagine if you could stop 90% of the people trying to get to the quarterback. Now you're talking, right? Now we're looking like the teams that are in the state, right? 90% of the time, we're stopping people. They only get 10% of the game. The rest, we're stopping them, pancaking them. We want that value for the house, not 10, but 95 or 97. We want to stop the problem first. So we're going to try to bring you all to that value. I hope that makes sense. I use that. I talk about football all the time if I'm not talking about hunting. Batting, blown in, foam are some of the ones we see done, and these things help. Kind of like windows, but they are slowing the issue, not stopping it. We just read the 10%. Pretty friendly cups over here. I think almost all of them are empty, these three right here. If we drop a little bit of this water down and put a sponge on it, I know we're going to clean them up, no problem. Now, if we spill everything going, these get even fuller as we go around. If we spill everything down and I put one sponge for all of you, what would happen?
Oh, leak out.
Waste of time. I might not make it all the way around.
No,
I'd start pushing water around.
Yeah.
And we see that happen in a lot of houses where they're soaking in heat, but not stopping it. It's creating more expense. R value stands for resistance. You probably heard of R19s, R30, or 40. We know that breaks down with heat and moisture, and one of our other big concerns. Let's say we'll have someone come in who, like I said, I think of like a nice, sweet lady that lives on her own. And she'll say, well, hang on now, I don't even know what's in my attic, or I haven't been up there, I don't even store up there. I haven't been up there since I put my ex-husband up there. Stuff like that, you know. Alabama, you got some people up there, right? So they whatever. My job description isn't to tell on you. So what happens is you get in there and when you have insulation like that get beat up for 10 years, it starts slowly shrinking. 10 more years, it's all the way down. Dust, condensation, compression, let alone the walls. Some people are like, dang, if it looks like that, what are the walls like? They haven't been insulated since the house was built. You know? So we talk about this because this is how we get repetitive built-in customers for another company. They're going to have to buy this insulation again and again when it's low, when they're not saving money. What we want is a permanent insulation that works today, tomorrow, 30 years from now. Conserving energy, not costing more money to heat and cool. So I love our probiotics, but where I started with this company, and personally what I think was the smartest thing for most people, is the permanent insulation, the MLI. I love talking about this. Before I did any solar, this was where they had me with right here, and I think we did the right job. So MLI. If you take any notes on this out of interest, NASA calls it MLI, we call it MLI. There is no other name. So put MLI ... whatever question pop up into your mind if you're taking notes on this. Now, I'm going to cover the liquid as well for people who need a liquid. So the MLI, it serves two purposes. If you ever go on the History Channel, there's a show on there called History Channel Presents Modern Marvels. And they do a very good job on this. They talk about how in space there is no atmosphere, so it'll be negative 250 when there is no sun, and then 250 degrees above zero in the actual sunlight. 500 degree temperature swing. The video says they go around the planet 16 times a day when they're in orbit. So they wanted to find something that's not only lightweight, thin enough though that would fit into the actual spacesuit. Stop heat, trap it in. Walter Cunningham, I can assure you the technology will save you money and work in your home just as it did in the spacecraft and the spacesuit. Just a little quote. What I kind of like to show is some of the more severe uses for it, like the forestry. When you have firefighters with their respirators not able to get out of a storm. In this picture, we're seeing the people in the 1800 degree forest fire. There's also equipment in here. And of course, they have those respirators on so they can breathe, but they get in these things if they can't get out. This kind of showing you here. Kind of gets in there. Kind of look like a Chipotle burrito kind of guy. But that's what it is, and they fully suited in there on the floor of of the forest floor. The forestry uses it, NASA uses it. My great example of it, if you want like the simplest version of this ever, I like your cups. When I'm on the phone, I tell people, hey, look, you called me for installation, you got 3 choices. You got fiberglass foam, you got aluminum, metal. And when you want to drink something cold, you've got like 3 choices too: paper, plastic cups, glass cups, or a Yeti cup. Anybody know what a Yeti cup is?
Got a Yeti.
So a lot of people these days are like, oh, I know exactly what that is. Well, of course,
Keeps it cold or
people are
longer?
going to tell you it keeps ice cold for hours, and they're going to say hot coffee lasts a lot longer anyway. It's
True.
aluminum. So you try to explain to someone what you saw today, you tell them Yeti of insulation. So what it is 99.9% pure aluminum, just like those cups. And the reason companies would build something out of this is because of scientific principle on our planet. 99.9% pure aluminum, scientific law states, has to reflect 97% of the radiant heat. So that's your number if you're writing that down. You're going from stopping 10% of that energy to 97% of the issue. Let's turn our AC on while we have Bill. And this is the best place to start someone. So this is how this stuff looks. Let me get into it, show you some pictures so you kind of get why we do what we do. You're going to show you a couple of pictures on the floor like that. It's 99.9% pure aluminum on one side and just 99.9% pure aluminum on the other. Now this is just a baby roll, 2-foot roll. It comes up as tall as I am, wide. 6 foot across it'll do. But we like to cut these and fit them into a perfect puzzle piece for that attic, no matter how old or young it is. And one of the benefits that people forget, one is cost. When you raise things and go vertical in an attic and go up on the rafters, you actually have to charge the customer more square footage. That's a common thing we see. Keeping it flat's going to save them a little bit of money. On top of that, if they ever downsize, we're able to custom fit it and cut it to a smaller home. We're able to pass warranties to the next homeowner if it stays in the house. The customer actually has options with something like insulation that they usually never have options with. Now the other thing too is we got to be careful in Alabama after last year. Same as Texas, same as Louisiana and Florida. 14 states in the country, they finished a 10-year study, and it had to do with aluminum right underneath shingles, about 1 foot to 2 away. And it talked about how putting aluminum under those shingles within 1 foot or 2 can actually cook the shingles twice as quick, bounce that heat off too close. And you really want to be flat. You want to be able to ventilate this thing. Let me kind of show you what I mean. This isn't like just a cheaper foil at a box store where you shove up on a rafter. What you want to make sure you're giving people in the state is a way to handle humidity. So when you open this thing up, you'll see this silicate layer on the inside. That silicate layer is designed to dissipate further amounts of moisture so it doesn't get locked in the material. And I'm hoping this is far away. I try not to put it in the front to blind everybody, but y'all see these little holes potentially? Okay, so one of the things people notice when they shine lights at other products and they go to this, they're like, oh, okay, I get you. So it's on the floor so y'all can use ventilation. That must be what that is. That circle right there, that black circle. It's ventilation. We want to pull heat and moisture right out through the product so it doesn't change shape, size, or color. It doesn't gain mold, mildew, or fungus. It can be put in an attic and it can handle humidity really well. Right? So we really like showing that. And this, for everybody, you come up here at the end if you want, it's sitting right here under the table. So you mess with anything you got up in here, right? These are your toys. I got trucks of them. So it can breathe. So let's go ahead and get into this. Let's go right here. So let's show you what it does. So this here, a little test. This is going to be a plexiglass box designed to show you 2 different attic spaces. What I like to do is use Pink Panther. That's nothing personal. When I met this company in 2009, they packed mine down, went flat over it, and I had Pink Panther. I like using myself. Also, every Home Depot and Lowe's has Pink Panther. I don't like using stuff you never heard of. And the white blown in I see in so many new communities, it responds the exact same way as the Pink Panther. So I want to use something comparable. So this is going to be designed to show you this in 5 to 8 minutes. 5 to 8 hours is about how long it takes for your house to heat up, right? So in order to do this and keep us kind of realistic, we got the temperature gauges. 71.9 right now. I'm thinking it's 6:45 in the morning in your attic, or else it'd be a lot hotter if we were later in the day, right? So we'll use those. And then I've got this piece of insulation where I've already folded this back so y'all can come up at the end and mess with it if you want to see that one instead of the one under the table. So we got heat lamps, 2 sides that will heat up, and a bunch of happy people that look like they're done eating. So the note card I gave you, the little white note card, if you would grab that, and if you would just turn it over to where you're not going to ruin your notes or something, somewhere you could scribble, and do you a little L for our lovely couple here, our left chamber closest to them, and right under it do a little right, and a little R for our lovely couple here, our right chamber right there, okay? And just help us take a few temperature checks. I'm going to go ahead and kind of, I'm hoping y'all can kind of see, I'll turn the lights back on here, but I'm hoping that maybe some of y'all can see this. Okay, we got them over here. And then, well, we got the chair I would have sat in for leg purposes. So there you are. So we have them right here. So where are we at on this further one? What do we see here? Yes, it is when I'm close enough. 71.9. I have trouble with the close stuff. So 71.9. So have that. Where are we at here? 71.4. 71.4. So very close. What side do y'all want me to do? I don't want you to think I did anything. Go ahead, someone pick, left or right. It doesn't matter, but someone pick. Closed mouths don't get fed. You say it, you got it. So he said L, he said left, so we're going to go ahead and help that left side right here. So what we've got goes right over the top. And look, another personal moment between the two of us. I work in 0 degrees, I work in 100 degrees. I don't think a homeowner can have enough insulation. I really don't. So I don't want to remove what you have. People ask us, do you remove this? Not if it doesn't have mold in it, not if it's just low or it's half or it's, we get people who have brand new blown in a new house and they still choose to go with our aluminum. What we want to do is pack it under to preserve it. In case you ever move, there's insulation for the next homeowner. And more importantly, you heard me talk about probiotics and air ducts. Anybody ever go in an attic, shine a flashlight and see little galaxies and stars floating around all over the attic? So one of the things we like is packing it down like that. You cut down on that greatly for people who store up in their attic. Now let me kind of go the other side of the coin here. There can easily be people who say, you know, what happens if we don't have anything in the attic? And I don't mean storage. What happens if we go up there and it is dusted? I've seen people inherit a house that hadn't been insulated in 30, 40 years. I see people in Louisiana gutted a house and they don't have any insulation. They want to know, can you just use this? Let me give you a great example. You know how most people's garages are plywood over the top of the garage and they can store and walk over them? That is one of the best examples of no insulation. And a lot of the easy people every week, the easiest ones, customers we get, they'll say, hey, could you just insulate the garage? It's like 110 degrees in the summer. The car's 109 when we get in it. But some people have like a hallway, a laundry room, or a guest room bordering a garage. And they're like, I'm telling you, it's affecting the rest of the house. All right, so let's pretend for fun that we're in the worst case scenario. Y'all can kind of watch me do this. Let's pretend we're in the worst case scenario and just pretend like you don't have anything. That way if you do, you can kind of judge your situation. Right? I hear that every day. Well, y'all, you've never seen my attic. Yes, I have. Well, it's the worst one. No, it's not. No. I'll tell you right now, since we're ahead of time, the worst attic of the year award, you want to know where it was?
Your house.
Dude, how did you know? No, I'm kidding.
I turned it off.
No, the worst one's this. I had to go to a place, I'd never been in Texas before, called George West, Texas. Don't ever go there. It's on the south side of San Antonio, about an hour past San Antonio. You know how the people in like southern Louisiana, they got like in Mississippi, we got like, you know, you got crawfish holes in the backyard, front yard? Okay. So picture that everywhere in the backyard. And I'm wondering what the heck these things are, right? Go into the attic to do an inspection. Tarantulas.
Oh, no.
Never again.
No,
I'll never do it again. I told the guy I was working with, Joey, I said, you can go into that one, I'm done. I'm done. 'Cause I'm used to seeing copperheads, I'm used to seeing a rattlesnake. You want to throw tarantulas at me? I don't think so. The customers down there, well, they're not poisonous. I don't care. Like, you got my hand that big crawling faster than me. Go away.
Oh, Lord,
Get
have
me out of
mercy.
here. Bring me back. Bring me to the forest. Get me out of here, man. So yeah, next time y'all think you got such a bad attic, no, you don't. Right? How about no? Worst thing I've seen out here is, like I said, maybe a dead body or something. I'm kidding.
That was in your attic too, wasn't it?
Possums. Yeah, you see, that's the craziest one. Raccoons and possums. Squirrels, usually they go die off somewhere we can't find them. But the squirrels, the raccoons and the possum thing is a whole nother level out here. Anyway, yeah, we got to remove them half the time we're in an attic. And they're like, yeah, we think we heard something up there. I think it was like 2 years ago. We'll pull it out. I'm sure it'll be a perfectly preserved skeleton.
Oh,
So this, like I'm thinking 1 degree, maybe 2 degrees. 50 degrees, 60. It's going to be a lot more entertaining, but we got to pay for entertainment. This, we know what it has to do. We know what it's made of. We know what it has to do. It has to stop 97% of that heat. What we talk about is in the summer, heat comes in causing extreme temperatures. The blanket reflects and rejects that radiant heat. More importantly, trapping the cool temperature in that house for comfort and savings. This is going to create lower cost, lower usage data. This is where I want to remind you of something. Solar. You start getting into solar, doing things like this, half the panels, you don't have to have all those panels. Half of what they would have sold you, you can use on the house. When they do quotes, you got to get real familiar with how the companies do quotes for solar. This state is going to watch. They're going to heavily target y'all next year. 7 weeks ago, they changed the tax policies in the country. We got to do all new tax stuff for solar. Next year, y'all going to get beaten up about solar. Companies are going to come to a dinner for you every single week, I guarantee you. Guarantee you. Y'all going to be blow up next year with solar. Make sure your usage is as low as possible. The higher it is, the more panels they're going to quote you, the more money you're going to get stuck with. Make sure you have it like this, okay? Lowest usage before doing any kind of solar. In the winter, it's going to help you too. We got to heat people up here, Baltimore, Michigan, Montana. Down here, when it gets cold for a month, heat on through convection, rises, hits the blanket, and builds back down throughout the rest of the home. Heating the home up a lot quicker and more efficiently. Heat you up as quick as we can cool you down. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to make sure I don't know if I can see it again, so I'm trying to give you as much as I can give you. Where are we at on the Pink Panther? Check 1.
77.7.
Well, someone is even luckier than lucky number 7. That's casino numbers right there. 77.7. We're rocking. All cherries. So 77.7. I'm thinking we're early. We're 9 a.m. in the morning over here. Nothing crazy. Where are we at here? 72. So 70. Yo. 72. Yeah, they got it. 72.1. So not a lot of movement. We'll see where it goes. This one, what we want to do is make sure we're showing you a couple examples. This is going to be the cathedral ceiling. Sometimes people say, well, we have walls there. I've had people that have a duplex or condo out at Eufaula, real good Bass Lake up there. One thing we talk about is, hey, making sure we insulate these type of walls in the attic, because you don't want heat bleeding or coming through. People can have a walk-in attic or whatever. So what we do, get out of the way, we will insulate here, but we will also insulate that wall right there if you need to. If you have vaults that are available for reach up there, we can do those too. But a lot of people, a lot of attics tend to kind of finish like this, especially our ranch style homes, 1-story homes, real simple. Pink Panther right here, I don't see any mold in there. There's no reason to get that out. Right on flat, right on top of the existing insulation. And one thing that people tend to like about this is you can see the boards now. We could mark those so you know where to walk. That's a very good safety feature. The other thing too, let's take it a step further just in case I was wondering about that. Well, what if they actually are like me and Lisa and they store a bunch of stuff in their attic? Well, you could technically have us put a piece of plywood down so he don't need to think about it. He can walk right across and get what he needs to get, or she can, you know. you need one piece? People say it's part of the deal. It's part of the deal. Could you get us one piece? Okay. If you tell my guys, Kyle said, you're going to deck the entire attic, they're going to say they were born at night, but not last night. Kyle says one. Right? You better give us a couple bucks if you want us to do a whole. Well, we don't make our own lumber, like, so you talk to us. I hope you all get me on that. Like, we want to make it safe since we're in there working already. Well, you know, let's talk about that. But at least we can market, right? The other thing is that all of you might have contractors for alarms, for cables, wanting access to pipes maybe. So you'll see a 4 to 6 inch overlap right down the middle. That 4 to 6 inches, so contractors can fold a layer back and get to work. All your attics will be a little different. But what we don't want is to see her have to, well, I guess I'll just have to roll the entire blanket up off my attic. That could create a heat exchange for them in the summer or the winter. So we will have access points for every attic, but it should be a perfect puzzle piece. Check 2, where are we at there? The ones I'm frying. 81?
91.
91. I know I'm frying y'all, it'll be done soon, I promise. Right? Our poor people, they're right on it. So 91 is going to be closer to lunch. Definitely hotter now. 91 degrees in the attic, we're getting hot. Where are we at over here?
72.
We're at 72. Yeah, we're sitting at 72.1, so we're looking really good. And again, expecting it to change, just to have fun with y'all one more time. I mean, if I told you we're going to lock ourselves in here until all the ice melts in a Yeti cup, how long are we going to be in here?
A long time.
At the state fair, we put chocolate in that box and let it sit there from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and people freak out because it never melts, but it's not really magic. It's aluminum. It's just completely different than what the other fiber. This one would be treating you kind of like a newer home in the last 5 or 10. We see a lot of blown in like that. What we want to do with that, because even though it's new, it may only be stopping 10%. So we want to go ahead and go flat right on over the top. You see that insulation? I would honestly argue that this person can actually use their attic. I don't know that they know where to walk over here. So this one's a little bit easier on them there. Flat, nice, neat, and organized. And then 2, just to show you a garage kind of, this one's, it doesn't need to have the seams because there's no wires or piping, but it's flat right on top. And you see us storing on top. If you rip or tear this, we have to replace it no charge. Again, we put that in your paperwork in your folders. So you're gonna walk right on it, strong on it, store as much as you want, right? I just like to make sure I beat mine up. I got couches up there. I got so much of Lisa's stuff up there, and so much of it. It's up there. I plucked her from Valdosta, Georgia, and moved her to Dallas. So it's my fault, but still, like, I got all my duck decoys, all my stuff up there, and she got so much stuff. What a studious lady with all them dang books. Anyway, where are we at over here?
102.
102. Now we'll be moving to the last product, getting you out soon. I appreciate y'all. Y'all made me feel a little too comfortable. I've been too happy and fun with y'all. So thanks for dealing with me. 102 is pretty dang hot. We're talking at least 2 in the afternoon. We're getting hot for sure. Over here, we're looking at, yeah, they 72.3, right? So they're looking a little more consistent. Let's make sure we finish the installation by answering one big question. There's a lot of people who say, what if we don't have an attic? It happens. You get people, I call it back roads, kind of like where I live outside of Dallas. You get people that are going to be more interested in their farm, their livestock, and they might have something simple where the AC is underneath and they don't even have an attic to worry about. You get people in double wides, mobile homes, trailers, RVs, cabins, and campers. Interesting builds. Barn dominiums are huge now in the country, out in the south too. What if these people want insulation but they don't even have an attic? And the other big ones for a lot of regular folks would just be a house that has a vaulted ceiling. Vaulted ceilings over the living or dining room, sheetrock right on a rafter, or walls. We get people who say, you know, we have one room that's got an issue on a wall. How are y'all going to address that? Well, one of the easiest things is to use our liquid insulation. This is huge. You can't even get out of Texas without this. Half the houses are flat roof and Spanish tile out there. You want to go to Arizona? It's all flat roofs. Metal roofs in Louisiana, no attics. Big cities, when we get into the major cities, you actually get a lot of tight lofts, a lot of places that 30-foot ceilings, not a lot of attics. We have to use this all over the country. So the liquid insulation out here would be very easy to use on a ceiling, a wall, vaults, anything that's not an attic space. NASA created it to coat the entire space shuttle originally, inside and out. Now what we do with it, here's kind of the notes on it. We use it in the homes as an interior liquid. I know it says exterior, ignore that. I don't want to do any exterior out here. Way too much stuff coming out of trees. Could be hail, rain for a whole few weeks. No, I don't want to do anything that you guys might have to do again 5 to 8 years later. Right? So we like to do lifetime warranty on the interior liquid. Right on a ceiling, a vault, a wall. What's nice about this is it's a liquid insulation, just like what you're seeing here, but in that liquid insulation ceramic microspheres, those beads of insulation. And what's nice too is it doesn't have any volatile or flammable solvents, right? You don't have any issues with it. And the other thing people like is it gives you the same results as the blanket, but it's not silver. It's eggshell white, like a new home, new wall ceiling would already be, and it acts as a primer so we can paint over any color you like, or you could do that as well. So you would do this wall and then I don't know what color that, my wife would be like, that's color 38 at Sherwood, like, whatever that is, I don't know, whatever that is, yellow cream. So if, whatever, y'all get me on that? So yeah, that is something we would do to give you the same insulation as the blanket, but since you don't have an attic and we're not gonna bust your walls open, a liquid. It's 2 coats though. We did it with 2 coats, okay? That should answer anyone who said, how the heck are they gonna do this, that, and the other? We don't have an attic. Liquid. You get a few more preferences with it. You get a few more options. The other thing you might wanna know from me, I don't wanna sugarcoat this, popcorn. Right? People ask us, do you do popcorn? Hey, we do not paint on popcorn. Now, I didn't say we don't help that person. We would want someone local, get the best price, we want to get it scraped, then go on over and get it. We want it as smooth as these walls. I want it to look smooth and perfect, which shouldn't be a problem. How many people, y'all gonna, oh, well, man, come on, don't take my popcorn. I mean, is that really what you're gonna do? I mean, come on, right? It's just one person hits that or throws a ball at grandkid, there goes flakes of the insulation. We just can't do that to you. You get companies out here, oh, we can do it. Take it. Don't, yeah, take it off. Let's do. I'd rather discount the product. I have a manager outside, so bear with me. I'd rather discount the product so that we can scrape and do the paint. Right? Let's make it make sense. Right? All right. Is that clear with that? Let's finish up here. Where are we at on that?
Ooh, 136, 9.
Okay. I took you kind of to August, unfortunately. A little, well, it's a little unrealistic for this time of year as we're getting down to 85, 80, 75. But that's summertime. That's exactly what it would be, 130 in an attic. Over here, I'm looking at it, it says 72.5. So we're at 72.5 over here. Some people live 73.4. The AC still hadn't cut on, which is great. Now the sun's going down, and one of the interesting things we see is people will come into the house, they'll check the mail, they'll walk a dog, and they'll go back into their house as the sun's going down below all the beautiful trees, but they feel like it's hotter in the house than it actually is outside. Right? It happens usually only if you've been gone for a while, then you'll notice it when you get home. Or another way to notice this is the AC runs a lot heavier at 8, 9 at night than it does at 8, 9 in the morning. What that is saturation. I talked about this. We talked about a sponge. Soaking up heat, not stopping it. So what's happened is this one's going to move. No doubt it's got to get up to 140, maybe 145 or so. Where are we at? Let's start here for once. Where are we at here?
72.5.
Yeah, 72.5. Right, we're sitting nice. Now where are we at over here?
145.
Okay, so 145. I mean, we're in Death Valley. We're not playing any football. We're in the real deal. You know, I know that's coming up week after next or something after bye week. So that's going to be a big one. So you kind of see the difference. Again, this is what we want to get right first. This can determine thousands of dollars, especially when people blow us up about solar. It can be the difference. So you getting charged 30 panels versus 7 panels. I mean, you gotta y'all feel my emotion on that. I think y'all get me. This is where I would suggest anyone start first. Conserve energy on that front end first. Also, make sure you do the little things. Make sure you get the company to do the little things. A lot of times we see things done and the attic doors are not even covered. Here, you got what I got, like a square. I got a square you pop up and then you climb up into my attic. We get people with the pull downs, stuff like that. We want to cover all of those because if you don't, the heat's going to seek out the cold air anyway and you could miss a few bucks. So we'll make sure we do this. Now, if you want to buy one on its own, yes, it is raised up and it's harder for insulation to fall out and make a mess. You know, so that's a good one. Zips all the way around. I just thought I'd show that to you right quick since we're almost out. That's just called a attic tent. An attic tent. If you ever do insulation with us, we throw that in. I had a lady earlier want a probiotic unit and we gave her one as a thank you for coming to dinner. All right, so hey. Y'all have been real good to me. I've used a little too much of your time to kind of run my dang mouth. Can I skip a few of these videos? We got these videos. They're testimonial videos. They're lovely people, but we got them all on YouTube. We can show you. That's all fluff. Are y'all good on this? Mm-hmm. How does it feel? You'll get some of these guys in here making you watch everything. I'm in here like, guys, do you really need to come on? They all tell me that, like, you just really just go, like, after 12 years of this, you would do what I do too. All right, so here's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and, hey, thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Berta. Thank you, Mitch and Shavonna Anderson. Thank you, Lori. And that's 20 minutes of everyone's time. So, okay, 72 point, well, you know, I'm long-winded. You can imagine how my bosses are. They're worse than I am. 151.7. So, all right, we go. You know, so they're dead. 72.6 over here. But some of y'all answered this. 150 in the summer. When it's 100 degrees, you get tight attics that are 150 for sure. Some of y'all said 130, 40. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, people think that's not a, people think it's not a joke. In Havasu City, Arizona, or Yuma, Arizona, Death Valley, they get 180, 183 degrees. But again, no humidity. But she's not crazy. It sure feels like 200 with humidity.
It feels it.
Last thing in the program is the fastest thing in the program. It's very easy to get. Some of you probably already guessed. Well, they're stopping the heat from going into bedrooms. The last thing and the only thing left to do is pull all the heat out of the attic. So the one big piece that's left for us with energy efficiency, kind of introduce you to a solar product, is going to be the actual fans that we use from Healthy Home. This is a place that a lot of people tend to start with us, especially with shingle roofs. By far the biggest killer to a house for several months every year, even if you're in Alaska, is going to be heat for several months. Heat is the biggest killer to the shingle roofs that we have to take care of. I wish I could tell you everybody has a metal roof. It's maybe 10% or less of the people, especially with them changing warranties on them in the South, having a big problem in Texas with these metal roofs right now. A lot of shingles, right? When they build new communities, almost always new shingles. They get cooked from 120 on the inside of an attic, 90 on the out, and them shingles tend to fold back over a decade. And we want to put years of life on the roof, not help them along, suck the years off of them. So we have to get the heat out of the property. That's big. The other thing is too, not just the shingles, but if you ever go shine a flashlight at the beams of an attic, you can see like sap coming out of the wood in some of these older buildings. And you can have sap in fresh lumber when it's green, but some of the houses are 30, 50 years old or older. If you see that kind of sap, it's screaming, it's time to get it out of that. We got to get the heat out. Obvious thing is the number one reason the AC is coming on in any house in this room is because it's fighting heat. If there was no heat in the attic, why would the AC run any more than it is? So we really need to finish this by getting the heat out. She said humidity earlier, and I think she was right. The house can run for a stick, damp, humid, sticky day. We want to pull moisture out of that attic and that toxic air we talked about. So last but not least, this guy right here. Now this one was built with two things in mind. We wanted to have a fan that was not like a box store. We don't want to have anything that's going to be $200, 2 to 3 year warranty, and then break with the first sign of hail or a tree limb hit it. You know, we don't want to see something with electricity draped over fiberglass. That is a no-no in a lot of states we go to. So we just know for every state on that. And we don't want any kind of generation or storage or what do they say? Thermostat settings. Thermostat settings. People say, what setting, what temperature does it come on? I don't want to wait till 105 degrees before this works. That's 4 in the afternoon. I want this coming on at 70, I want it at 7 in the morning. So this is going to be, I think I heard someone give it away, solar. It is 100% solar. You were right, whoever you are. And it is a lifetime warranty. These ones we're real proud of because we build our own fans. When you come up here at the end of the program, so this is the second thing I put on my house. For some people it should be first. But it says Healthy Home engraved on our actual fans. There's no stickers hiding other manufacturers. And I'm going to make sure everybody kind of sees this thing. But what it is, it's one whole piece of aircraft spun aluminum all the way around. One whole piece. It is coated in our liquid to prevent any rusting. This is mainly for ice and snow up north, but the last 2 years have been really weird in the south. We've had some ice, had some snow, so that's a good thing. The panels, they're 100 microtech embedded under the photovoltaic lenses that don't even need direct light. It is 21 watts as well for anyone taking notes. So it will run with soft light or full sunlight. You're too close to the coast. When we get down here, overcast, sunny in the same hour, some days. So we want to make sure you get a little bit stronger panels, okay, than traditional models. They are going to be a lower profile for the roof, a little bit of a lower profile here. One of the things that might be difficult for people to see is that if you come up here at the end, I try to bend these in these programs, bend them so you can kind of see there's a cage and there's these blades that are very sharp on the internal. That is not movement. Those are to discourage any birds, bats, possums, raccoons. We got bat problems back home. Y'all got all kinds of indigenous wildlife. So we don't want them being able to climb in, so those are for discouraging. The other thing too, very easy to show in these rooms. So they're just solar. Well, I say just solar. They are solar. So what they'll do, they start collecting that light and they'll start spinning on you. Pretty simple. So what they're doing is they're pulling the light, pulling the heat from you, the attic, right to my fingers, kind of at my belly button, right? Where my nose is. So they're pulling it out that way. So if you kind of stick your fingers in here, you can feel all the air coming flowing out, right? So the way that these go, well, I guess I just told you, sorry, I overdo it. Simple. Now, one of the things we'll talk about on these guys, they're all tested 160 to 200 mile an hour winds in Punta Gorda, Florida. This is one I've used at the state fairs, so you feel free to come up here. This is the one people have tried to hit it with hammers. Here you go. You do whatever you want. You won't break it. You're not gonna. If you break one, you get one.
Okay.
Get away. I thought you'd get away, didn't you? So I said, no, you're not gonna break one. If it can take my weight on it, I stand on them at the state fair with my microphone and stuff and make a big deal about it. I have fun with this. So, just so everyone knows, so this box that I've done beating up over the year, grabbing it and handling it. What we talk about with ventilation, you go to someone's house and you often see a whirlybird or 2 whirlybirds or 3 whirlybirds. No disrespect at all. If you go to Home Depot to buy a new one, it's going to say 10 feet of air a minute, rotation with the wind. Ridge vents down the center, like I used to have, about a 10 feet coming out in the summer. Or gable vents, hoping it's windy every day, which y'all know can be dead out here. Mm-hmm. The problem we have is, the reason people answer the question, how hot is it in the attic? Well, it's 130, it's 140. They're used to pulling 10 to 50 feet of air for 1,500 or 2,000 feet of an attic, maybe even bigger. They're not getting close to a quarter of the air out, so it's hot as heck in the attic and the AC has to run. When we talk about ventilation, we talk about doing a fan that pulls 1,250 cubic feet of air a minute. That way we only have to put one fan on a 1,500 square foot house. Sometimes the attics are bigger, that's true, and we might need to use more than one to do the right thing by you, give you a better price on one so you can do the right thing. But what we talk about with this, and I'm going to leave this up here for people who want to kind of take a picture of the back side. We can come bring you a pamphlet at the house with that if you need it. But we pull fresh air through the soffit fence. Alabama did it right to begin with. I don't know why people closed off the attic. Y'all, it's builders put those soffit fence around the houses for a reason. We're in a humid state. They're hoping people are going to ventilate. They're going to pull heat, moisture out through the soffit fence and up the top of the house. Constantly rotating air during the day, never letting humidity rest in the attic, never letting heat rest in the attic. It should be 90 on a 90-degree day. Never should we have no 130 degrees on people's possessions or over their head. The cooler we make it here, the easier it is for them to cool themselves all year, and the less that unit has to work. We're back to the offensive line we talked about. Very hard to get to the quarterback, the most expensive thing on the field, the AC. So we have to try to stop the issues like this. Other than that, and again, I hope everyone's kind of getting where lowering the usage this way first incredibly benefits you if you get caught into these solar things. I say get caught because solar is not for every house. It can be done really well for some houses. Gotta make sure you qualify for the first things first, right? Those products first. This one here, again, if you don't have any holes on the roof, right, your ridge vent, maybe you're in a build that's closed off or you're building right now, we're licensed to build them into the state of Alabama, so we can put them in anywhere that we need to on the house, get the right amount of light, we can build them in. But a lot of houses already have whirlybirds or caps where they already have a hole on the roof, right? We wouldn't want to cut a hole on your property when you already have a perfectly good one. So we'll go ahead and replace one of those with one of ours. Very time-friendly and good result. The one that I really like is if we have anyone with gables. I really enjoy these. Does anybody have gables on the side of the house? Several, a lot of y'all. How many have gables? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and so a lot of people. Okay, so what we had done for my home is put the metal roof on in 2019, and I had them build in gables. So I have used this model from 2009 to 2019, but we've been running these gables, and I enjoy them. Here's what it is. And remember too, some of y'all kind of looked at each other. This is normal in the group. Do we have a gable? I don't know. Well, no, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I would just simply tell you this, and I'm not trying to be funny, but if you have to think about it, you don't have a gable. You would know, just because you would walk up and you'd see the slits on the side, the triangle over the garage, octagon, circle, or square, right? You would see them and they'd be those slits. And if you have one gable, you're usually going to have another one on the other side, maybe even more than one. So what we have is different shapes, sizes, and models, and that's kind of what I really like for the gable folks. What we do there, they expect to have to figure it out. No. We've got models that go in frame, that we build in frame in the actual gables. And what we'll do is do the pair. They have a trigger switch to pull 1,250 feet of air in, 1,250 feet of air out. So like you go in my current attic, you sit on that little couch where I'm stringing bows up or doing duck decoys, you feel air right at my head and right on out the other side, right? And that's how it should be for people like that. So they're getting the same benefit as that fan. Now the only thing that you would have a question on is, well, what about the panel? So it is solar though? Yes, it is, but the wires are hidden, and that panel, and only the panel, gets mounted on the outside of the home. Mounted. So tile, metal, or shingle, you don't even have to cut holes. They get mounted. It can be taken off at a later date, right? It is tested. It'll stay up there in the worst winds that you can throw at it. But people tend to like that because they don't have to have any kind of holes, right? Especially with metal roofs, right? Now again, if you're the traditional model, you might expect you already have a hole or need a hole going in. So I hope everyone gets me on that. Now the only other thing I can possibly give you, as we're out of time, the tilt. This one may come into your life if we're in Alabama. We use them in Alabama because of the trees. We'll get to a house that normally, I'm telling you, when it's too steep, super steep A-frame or pitch, and when you go to put a fan on it, it's not quite looking the right way, and we need to angle it towards the sun. But in Alabama, we can see tree cover to where they're only getting one spot of light right here or over here. And when we do the inspection in the day, we're going, that's not going to cut it. We're going to need that fan that not only can be can be angled, but we need the rotational so we can turn it straight at that light that they're getting for the roof. So if you have a really difficult roof, we're gonna kind of give you the upgrade and go through the tilt. If that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense to everybody. Yeah? Good. You guys did great. I don't have a T-shirt that says I survived Kyle's dinner program. And for some of you, you might have seen our dealers and stuff and are like, man, dude, we've sat through you like 3 times. You were even longer than the last guy. I know. What I normally do is handle questions. Kind of for the sake of time right now, I only have 13 minutes before the next group. So here's what I will tell you. 6:17, I gotta get you out. So here's what I will tell you. I'm gonna stay up here for people who wanna come up and ask questions, but there's one last thing we do need to go over that's probably on everyone's mind, and that would be the cost of any of the products we laid out. Pricing. So I'm gonna go ahead, and we do tell you, we have a national retail site, Healthy Home 365. They can handle any questions for you. When we do the dinner program, we appreciate you for spending the time, especially with me. They know, they're like, oh Lordy, these people got to deal with Kyle. So we say thank you and give you a discount on every single product as a thank you. And when we do pricing in my groups, it's going to be tax, labor, warranty, install, everything. That way the person knows when they leave, here's how much it would cost if they wanted to move forward with it, or they wanted to just get a free appointment. They know. The other thing I want to tell you is if you are fiercely interested in a product, there's a job I have to do tonight, but when we get to a home and we're doing a quote, we have 10 different AHDs, American Hero discounts on our banners. First and foremost, our veterans, veteran families. We have our senior, our educator, or our healthcare. So if you have people in the family that fit that, please talk to us if you are serious about a product so we can be competitive and help you with price. Did that make sense for everybody? They're strict on me in here. If you're serious with us, get a quote and we'll help you further. And remember one more time, if you liked what you heard tonight, and you also may want to hear from us the week after next, you want us to reach out to you about solar and what's coming up next year, write a S on the bottom right of that orange card so we know to get you at least a packet or at least text you a way to communicate with us, okay? Make sure you do that. We usually will call once, but we like to text so you know it's a real person with all these. I think my car insurance went out 5 times today. I got phone calls. I'm like, really? Wow, my warranty? It says right here, I've got like another 3. Weird. Went out 5 times today. So we will text if you have text capability so you know it's a real person. Okay. All right. Here's these products. So the Eco Probiotic System, that's maybe the one thing that was in a whole league of its own tonight. Whole different product. The EPS 365. Tax, labor, installed, warranty, the works is $34.95 total. That is tax, labor, the warranty, the install, and that also comes with a 1-year supply of probiotics loaded for you. So you're already set with a whole year. Keep in mind, on the website it says we only sell 6-month supplies for $499. Do not write that. When you do the dinner, they do a 1 year at a time, 1 year filled for you. The next time you need one, they discount it, matching the name on the device so that it's easy to remember. $365 for 365 days, right? $1 a day for probiotic care for you in the house. We do several price points on this to help out. We do have our own financing on it. I will tell you this though, something that people pick up from us. If you want to save money on the back end, we do offer in the dinners when we're traveling and have the products with us, a 4-year supply of probiotics plus a 5th year for free for $1,460 before discount. We could knock some off. The thing that we're trying to do is save you money on the back end, our shipping, this, that, and the other. So if you want to buy in bulk, that's an option you will have at the house. You can easily do 1 year at a time. That'll be about finances and what you feel is comfortable. Okay? Excellent product. My only regret is I don't get to spend 30 more minutes on this like I'm at a gym or a hotel. There's so much more info to show you on that. Now let's get into the fan. I know I talked about the insulation first, but I told you solar credits have changed as of 7 weeks ago. So has our paperwork, and I want to show you what this does. So the discount for coming to dinner, if someone wants to start with the fan, we install, tax, lifetime warranty from heat, hail, ice, wind, water, or down tree cover. $1,895 is our starting price, and it will go down for senior or veteran. Now, that is a reflection of our warranty and our quality. I wish they'd let me sell for more than that, because if it breaks, they fix it again and again. A tree comes down, they'll do it again. Now, the one thing on these fans is the adjustment you need to make here. Ignore the number. I'm not the best with these computers, and that the Mac thing doesn't have any Microsoft programs, so I can't change it. Y'all know how to change it, tell me. 7 weeks ago, they got on the news, as they do, and they said that in order to make people proactive instead of reactive to this year's rate increases, that they're going to extend the solar credit, which they were going to do away with, and they were going to move it to 30% on solar equipment. The forms that we have here, when you do a fan, we have to fill the whole thing out 30%, which is $568 of tax credit coming back on every fan purchased or financed. If you don't pay tax, you already know the answer to the question, what do you get? You don't pay tax, how can we give you a tax credit, right? Everybody, half the people in the room do pay tax, right? So if you don't pay tax, you're using this for your comfort and savings on the energy bill. If you do, we'll give you the forms, and here's where we're at on this. People who pay tax, like I think about people who finance a fan for a 45 bucks a month or something. They're going to take that money and they're going to use it to pay out payments when the time comes. People who purchase are going to recoup their investment a little bit quicker. Of course, this is before we even calculate savings on actually pulling problems out of your home and helping you on the energy bill, which is the main goal. Tax credits are really just a candy dangling in front of you. The real point is the savings. Now, the other thing to consider is this home improvement deal that they threw into the deal. So the U.S. Department of Energy, this is where a lot of my arrogance, I seem cocky about this. The U.S. Department of Energy, not Healthy Home. The U.S. Department of Energy says that aluminum insulation is the most effective at reflecting heat in hot, sunny climates and can trap in heat too in cold climates. They do a tax credit on this. If you're pairing the insulation with the fan, they let us give you the dual credit form. It is 30% tax credit at the higher dollar amount for that order. So if you are pairing insulation and the fans, you would receive a higher tax credit than you would with just the fan. We'll have to actually come out, quote you on that. Again, these credits are dollar for dollar, instant federal in all 50 states. Doesn't matter how they itemize or file this year. So please talk to me about that. There is a clause about next of kin or same last name. So if you have a son or daughter, there is a potential that we might be able to make it work for them. But again, if you don't pay tax, if you were going to ask that, you know kind of how most of the time ends up. If you do pay taxes, there you go, a little bit of help, okay? The only thing that I can't do, so we have the forms for the fans and the insulation. People have been asking me, what about the one they passed 7 weeks ago about home improvement? The one about $1,500 a year for 5 years in a row. Okay, that is something that exists, and it starts in January, but we're not allowed to fill the form out. We're supposed to point you to the website. They want to make sure you are who you say you are, that you're not a renter, that you're a legit John Jameson, that, you know, they want to know that you're the right person. So if you're looking at, let me stop. If you are interested in a fan, you let us give you a free quote. Let us write out all the solar credits that you're capable of getting, see if we can qualify you for it, okay? Let us do our job, all right? We got to fill everything out for you. Stay for your social, that's up to you. Excellent place to start. If you're not going to do both, you start here. If I don't get to see you again, remember this. Something I tell every state, something that nobody thinks about, companies take your money. You'll have companies come out and smile at you and put this in your house and just be like, thank you so much for your business. That's pretty wrong, because if you only use the aluminum, it's reflecting heat directly at the shingles. You frankly don't, you usually shouldn't start here unless you have a metal roof. You start here, ventilate the home, and set up, pave the way for insulation. If it makes sense to do both at first, then absolutely, that would be the biggest, most drastic thing you're gonna do for the house. I hope you got my opinion on that. I hope you get where I'm coming from. But ultimately, the customer's always hungry. So insulation is going to be something a lot of people get regardless of what I said. The insulation is phenomenal, and the paint is going to be a thing here. So let's talk about this. So the last piece of the program, if you go onto our website, now you do not have to write this down. I'm required to give it to you, so write it if you want, but you don't have to. The website for Healthy Home and our dealers has the insulation listed for $5, 29 cents a square foot, plus 45 cents a square foot for labor. That is to drive anywhere in the country, do the job, and go all the way back home. The paint is normally $1 more a square foot because we have to do it twice to ensure the seal. It is like doing double the work. The thing about the dinner that's very different. The two things about the dinner, when we do these, everybody in here is going to live differently. And I mean your temperatures. You're all going to want different temperatures. Even in the same house, you could have two different temperatures. The other thing is that y'all's houses are completely different. Y'all did much better than lunch. One question might not affect everyone else, so I appreciated y'all not blurting them out. You got this guy has a metal roof, this guy doesn't. This girl has a gable, this girl doesn't. This one wants to do the whole house, this one only wants insulation. We want to make sure we do the right things. So what we offer to do is we come out, take a look at the home for free, and we write one of these up and give this to you. So this is one of our big guarantees. It has these solar credit boxes, our quotes. I like to do needs versus the wants. Don't want to get into a bad situation like lunch today. Well, the lady's saying I want both of it, the solar fan and the blanket. I'm telling you because I want the credit. Luckily, we went to her house. She didn't even have an attic. What would we be pulling out of? We would never want to put a fan. That's why, thank goodness, we don't let people buy anything in the actual dinner. Right? You have to do a quote. So we come out and leave. Sorry. Thanks for letting me vent. Y'all are here for I'm here, you know. You guys are working here too. You're working too, right? You think I'm working. You're actually working harder than me. So we will leave this with you. Now when we come by to take a peek, do a free 10, 20-minute assessment, if what we talk about with insulation makes good sense, and you want to get on an install list for blanket or the liquid while we're there with you, with the material we have, we discount the paint and the blanket to $4.29 installed. You need to write that down. We waive the labor. We do not do 45-cent square foot labor fees when we travel like this. The product's already here. So you need to put $4.29 as your worst case scenario. That is a discount for dinner. Between me and you, if you have one of those discount points we talk about down there, veteran, senior, healthcare, teacher, we can do it under $4, but let our guys earn your business. Give them some time. I want them to get to at least act like a hero, right? I don't want to give you everything. So say I said $4.29, period. That's the law. And then our guys will be the nice guys. They want to feel like they're earning your business. Yeah, it is a square foot until we add the additional discounts. The other thing you need to know, if you ask us, well, what if we only want to insulate? What if we'd like to start small with the fan? How do we pay for this? Do you have options? We have 3 of our in-house financing companies that do 0 down on any credit score, one product or multiples, push payments out 40 or 50 days to let people feel a product before they make a first payment. Especially with holidays, we often offer things like several months out so people can feel very comfortable now and not worry until much later. So we do have all the options you would expect us to have, not just cash, check, and all that. The only thing I warn you, if I don't say this to you again, most people are probably in this room paying for this right now, and it's not even in the house. And I don't mean that to be a jerk to you, something to think about. If you're letting 90% of the heat flow through fiberglass and you've been paying the bill all summer, one of the hottest summers in the last decade, and we're going to let heat flow out in February, and we're just going to pay the bill, then okay, then you're financing this through the utility company without even having it. You're paying more money than you probably deserve. What the goal should be, what I stress to every guy I work with, all the gals, we want to shrink what we're paying the utilities, because the utility bill's never going to be paid off. So we want to shrink what we're paying there, pay this off with savings that we might have been wasting, and eventually the customer has it paid off and they're collecting the savings. One of the few net zero things. And where we are today seems to not be where we're going. It seems like we keep moving up in price, never getting any cheaper. And we look at that being an excellent product to help fix that. The only other things to remind you, remember the paint is the same price if you come to the dinner, so there is no dollar more on top. Ignore that on our website. And the last thing are those two things I put on the top of the box. People ask us, what about the added tent, the thing on the tent? That's if you want a product, you're going to talk to us and we can add that in. Well, what is this? Well, if you don't have a tankless system, you got an older tank and you tell me the water's not getting hot enough quick enough, or you're losing heat in the middle of the bath or something, ask us if you want one of these, because you don't want to go using a perforated insulation on that. You want no perforation, twice the grade, and you want to go all the way on down. So if you're looking, kind of like the sweetheart from lunch today got a fan from us, I said, hey, would you like that? She goes, that would be really nice. How much? I said, remember, I told you, that's free. Thank you for doing business. I appreciate you for listening to me for 2 hours, right? So ask for that. The other thing is going to be the nest. If you're interested in a nest, ask us for some information at the house. This is one of those $200 ones that we're giving for insulation or fan jobs, people who just want to make an upgrade to the thermostat. The new ones are Alexa compatible. They can actually be turned on and off. Uh-oh, sorry, wife. Off. Sorry. Sorry. Now you guys done it. So now I'm screwed. So hung up on her over y'all. So you can turn it on and off from these little smart gizmos. You can turn it off from your cell phone. People like them though because they got 30 different algorithms that cut down wasted usage. But the real thing a lot of folks like around the holidays is the password protection. So if you have folks coming into your house, your kids, family, moms, dad, whoever, they come in there and they, I'm just going to screw with her thermostat. If I put the passcode on, you ain't doing nothing. In fact, if you mess with it, I'm going to turn it up to 85 and smoke you out of the house. Yeah, you got total control. I like it too. The only thing I like, I'm not good at all this stuff, but it does send you a weekly Friday a text or a email telling you exactly what your energy bill is up to this day. So you can kind of see where you're at. Again, this is from last year. Y'all are getting the new ones, which are the Nest Pros. They're a little fancier. If you want to see them, go to your Walmart. They're at the TV section in a little case where I got the pins, okay? So that's something you don't pay for, all right? It's like everything I can give you. 1, 2, and 3 at the bottom of the orange card. And remember, for those people who want additional solar information, they're writing an S on the bottom right corner so we know to get back with you a week or 2 from now. But I think most of y'all understand our priority. Number 1, they want to know, how is the food and server under number 1? How was the food and server under number 1?
Excellent. How was the
Yep, food and server, all under number 1. How'd you feel about it? You look good, fine, or the chicken had wings, or the fish had gills. How was the food? Well, whatever you want. I'm too much. There you are.
We good.
Easy enough. Okay. People sometimes go, what did we put there? Put whatever you want. Number 2, and this one affects the restaurant. Number 2 does affect me, so let's make sure we get this right. They want to know, did Kyle do a decent job explaining the products in the program? Did Kyle do, I know I put a lot of energy into this. I get excited after all these years, but did Kyle do a decent job explaining this to you? Hope you heard something you haven't heard before. I hope I gave that to you. You can put yes, you could put no. If you write no, you can write it in pencil. You can write constructive feedback. Want me to know. You always know how to get out of it, right? Always got a back door, all right? It's like the cheesiest joke I got. Number 3 is the last one for me. This one means the most to me as we're finally done, and it is all about you. So we stay active as a company. We do the program this week 8 times in 3 days, as the card showed. And usually whatever's comfortable, we have you in. This was a little more spaced out, and that was good, but people are going to have their own questions. People may be interested in a product. They might want to talk about pricing. They might not have been in their attic, and they want us to go up there. what number 3 is for is a decent time frame to leave this with you and give you a free attic inspection. Now, I want to be clear about this. We do this as long as we do in here to make y'all pros. We have good time, but we make you pros. So that we only have to take 10, 20 minutes at a house, answer questions, leave information. But what I want my team to do is offer you an attic inspection where we do the digital square footage and heat exchange so we're timely, and we look in there and see the needs versus the wants. Now, if you don't have an attic, it's not going to take very long, but most of y'all, I'm thinking because y'all had air ducts, y'all will probably have attics. So we'll go ahead and do a free one. Now, that is the best time to talk any of our credits, pricing, measurements, pamphlets. And again, most of the time I got Joey with me who talks half as much as me, and you like him a lot more. Now, the only thing I'll tell you on this is it is free, and we start tomorrow. I asked my team, hey, in the middle of the week, Thursday, we need to start at 7 a.m. for people who are up and ready with coffee. And we need to work until 11 p.m. You're going to have some mom working until 8 at night, and she's going to need someone to come later. So we've got 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., and you can pick any 20-minute window you want. The only thing I'm going to remind you is when we come to leave this with you, make sure if you're a husband or wife that you're both there. Even if you gotta, make sure you're there. I don't care if it's midnight, make sure you're there. I don't like it in my life. I do not want I hate going to a man's house when he's not even there with his wife, or vice versa. It's just not respectful. They're on the same, y'all get me on that? So, husband and wife should be together. I hate seeing just, no, he's not going to be here, but you can come over. No, you're going to get in trouble, or he's going to get in trouble. No, I'm a married dude. I know how this goes. Like, so no. Okay? Together or nothing. Right? No troublemaking. No one's getting in trouble on this trip. Yeah, the white woman comes home, beats both of us. Now we're both, right? Spear the bill, beer everywhere. Now we're not having fun. So, as long as you are done, when you are done, now I'll tell you this too, the only booked up time I got tomorrow is just 9 and 10 a.m. If you want to do 7 or 8, you want to do 11 or 12, you're good. 9 and 10 a.m. If you only have that time, keep it. I'll try to spawn another version of me tonight with my magic or something. We'll try to get there. Okay? Once you're done with this, and especially if you have a question on the time and you want to you need help on it, I'm going to come around and collect them. When you're done with these, hold it up so I know you're done, okay? And once I have your card, you are finished with the dinner program. Kind of like he did, just hold it up so I know you're done. Right, and I'll get y'all out of here.
What's up, you guys? It's your girl, SHEILA&FRANK. Come on over and check out our channel, PromoSTK Reality TV, Husband and Wife, where we eat good in the neighborhood. We're a mukbang eating show, cooking and recipes, especially soul food, pranks on Frank. Oh, y'all go check it out. Challenges, vlogs, comedy skits, short videos, and TikTok. So come on and become our oh yeah baby today. Subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram, PromoSTK, or you can also go to any of our social sites and find us under PromoSTK. Oh yeah baby. We can't wait to see you. We can't wait to meet you. So come on over